everyone, welcome back to Same Right Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial on this channel. So today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to sew this kaftan we drafted in the last class. So now you can see the kaftan drafting. We opened up here. I told you if you want to flay it up a little bit, you can open up at this point. So here we have our center front and center back. The center back will be on fold and the center front will be open. So initially I added 1 inch for in case you want to make buttons for it. If we are going to have our appliques, okay, at the upper part of this, I'm going to cut out the button. So this part actually is going to be open and we are going to turn it with our facing. So I thought of making the sewing tutorial for you so you don't get confused with what we drafted. So I take off the 1 inch. If you need button, you can put the 1 inch for your button allowance, okay? So I'll take this away and then we are going to have this totally open for center front and center back. Center front and center back. Okay, so our Chinese button is going to be here, or any of other appliques of your choice can be here. So this remains the neckline. As you can see, what we have there is almost a turtle neckline. So if you look at that turtle neckline, you notice from that line, there is on the thumbnail, there's a curve right here. So I just want to make that curve. Okay, so I just thought of making that curve. So you can see how I'm making that curve from the center front line into the neckline. Okay, so that's how I want to make it for the front curve. So the neckline will just run into here and blend up. So we'll be able to have that little curve. So if you don't want that curve to be so deep, you can still come closer this way, because the one we have on the thumbnail is not actually so prominent. So, but this is what my pattern ruler gave me at that point. So you can decide to go with any design of your choice at that point. So we want to start off the cutting of this fabric. So I want to make a facing, because we'll be using facing to sew this. We are using our facing to sew this both front and back. So the facing I'm making now, I'm going to first of all trace it out. So I will make my facing at 2 inches for the back. You can see the back neckline right here. So this is my 2 inches facing, 2 inches facing, 2 inches facing. Please don't get confused. You can see I'm taking the measurement of my facing from keeping my tape on the neckline. So the facing for the back, I'm using a red marker so you don't get confused of all of these marks. So this is back facing. I'm going to trace the back facing out now, okay? Then for the front facing, this is the blue line. So on this blue line, I'm going to, of course, we are going to face from the hem, okay? So I will be facing from the hem since this is going to be open. So we are using our facing. So I will just mark 2 inches facing. You can see where I'm marking my facing, 2 inches facing, 2 inches. So if you are following this curve into the neckline, your facing will start from this one. If you are following this one, it will start from that one, okay? So let us follow this initial one. So I have my facing right there at 2 inches. At 2 inches, following the neckline like that till I get to the end of it, and it terminates back to this facing. So this is my facing. Can you see? So I'm taking it back, following the curve I have at the neckline. So that is that for the facing. So I'm going to cut what I have right here out. I'm going to trace it out. So I'll bring my brown pattern paper. Okay, so I bring my brown pattern paper because I need to trace out this facing. Okay, so if I don't trace it out, it might be difficult for me because of them. So if I'm tracing it out, I would want to align it first. You can see me aligning it. I'm aligning it to match up, so I will know this is the edge. Okay, so I don't go tracing. So I'm tracing out what I'm seeing here, which is the 2 inches we marked. So you need to actually, let me first trace what I have for the back. Okay, so we have to do this systematically. For the back, this is the back neckline. This is the shoulder seam line. This is the facing, and I call this will be on fold, which is the facing center back. So this is the back facing. I believe you understand that. So I'm going to cut this one out separately. So once that is done, I'll move my paper because I cannot do the both of them together. So I'll move my paper now, so I'll be able to get the back, the front facing. So I have moved my paper now for the back facing, and I'll first of all mark the center front line to the end, and I'll follow the line of the back facing, front facing. So this is the neckline we just made right here. So I'm trying to get the neckline we made here. Okay, this line, I'm trying to get this line into the shoulder seam line, and from there I'm going to go into my facing proper. Okay, so I'm just taking it down at 2 inches. So you can see what I have for my facing at that point. So this is my front facing. Okay, so I'm going to cut out this front facing and the back facing, and I'll lay it back to the pattern for you to see what we are doing here. So the front facing, I'll be cutting 2 times, and the back facing, I'll cut once on fold. So I'll cut what I have here out now. Alright, so for the front facing, this is what we have for the front facing. Can you see? So it fits right back. Can you see that? So it fits right back, following this neckline we made, not this one. It depends on the one you want to go with. I think the one we have here is better, so I'm going by the first one we made with our pattern ruler. So this is the front facing. Okay, so I'll take it off. The facing is ready, and I'm going to cut the back facing. So this is the back facing. So I bring in my back facing. You can see it's fitting in. I bring in my front facing. You can see it's fitting in as well. So this is what we have on our facing. So we are good to go to cut. So I will go ahead now to take off the facings, and then we are going to cut the back before the front. Okay, so here we have if you remember, we opened up our sleeve at this point. Okay, so this is where I had my shoulder initially, from the center front, okay, at 8 inches, and then from that, this is my shoulder point if you are making a sleeve for yourself, and this is your sleeve length. So the sleeve length we are making use of here, I'm thinking of extending it a little more so it gets somewhere here as it is right there on the thumbnail. Okay, so if you are extending it a little more from the shoulder, this is my shoulder line and this is my shoulder. Okay, so you are going to take the measurement of your sleeve from the shoulder here, and from the shoulder there to the point you want it to open. So it will be opening somewhere here from 7 to 10 at the elbow line. So I think what I have here, I'm in order. So from here is very much okay. So that is exactly what we are going to cut. So I'll bring in my fabric now. I will cut the back. You see how we are going to cut it, opening and adding a little flay. If you don't want to add a little flay, you can still cut the way it is, but we are going to open up a little on fabric and cut. So let me bring in my fabric so we can